The governor of California, Jerry Brown, endorsed Hillary Clinton this week before the primary in his state on June 7th. So let's go through some of his statement here. He says, on Tuesday, June 7th, I have decided to cast my vote for Hillary Clinton because I believe this is the only path forward to win the presidency and stop the dangerous candidacy of Donald Trump. Okay, let's pause here. Yeah, see, the problem with that is it's factually incorrect. I mean, I want to be kind to you. I don't dislike you up front, but when you say something like that, it pisses me off because it's not true. In fact, when you look at the polls, as we've gone over a zillion times now, Bernie Sanders beats Donald Trump by 15 points in a general election in the most recent poll. In the most recent poll, Hillary Clinton loses to Donald Trump by 2 points. Now, you might say that's one poll that doesn't mean enough. Fair enough. So let's look at the average. When you look at the average, Bernie Sanders is up over Donald Trump over 10 points. Hillary Clinton is down less than a point, but she's down. So it's a statistical tie, you can say, with Hillary Clinton. It is not with Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders crushes him. So when you say, I believe this is the only path forward to win the presidency and stop the dangerous candidacy of Donald Trump, that is not correct. He continues. Hillary Clinton has convincingly made the case that she knows how to get things done and has the tenacity and skill to advance the Democratic agenda. Pause again here. I don't know what that means. When you look at her record, it's really not that good. She voted for the Iraq War. She voted for the Patriot Act. She voted for NAFTA. She was in favor of TPP, and she pushed forward 45 times before she flipped because Bernie Sanders put pressure on her from the left. She supported deregulation. She gave speeches on the floor of the Senate arguing that flag burning should get you a year in jail. That's brazenly and blatantly against the First Amendment. If she really is a Democrat at heart, she's quite a shitty one. She's a pretty far right-wing Democrat. In fact, I would argue she's just flat out center-right on the spectrum. And again, we could go into more detail on her foreign policy. It's not like, whoop, she made a mistake with Iraq, but the rest of her track record is good. No, she supported regime change in Libya. She was a leader in that sense, and she also is still today for regime change in Syria. And she's super hawkish on Iran. She wasn't even in favor of the Iran deal. She, after the fact, when it worked, she came out and said, oh, yes, I've been in favor of this all along. No, you weren't. We have the evidence. We know you weren't for it. You called Obama naive for saying, I'll talk to Iran without preconditions in the last primary season. So, again, I don't know where he's getting this from. She has the tenacity to get things done. What things? Things that the Democratic base would not like. He continues. Voters have responded by giving her approximately 3 million more votes and hundreds more delegates than Sanders. If Clinton were to win only 10% of the remaining delegates, wildly improbable, she would still exceed the number needed for the nomination. In other words, Clinton's lead is insurmountable, and Democrats have shown by millions of votes they want her as their nominee. All right, pause again. That is not true. I repeat, that is not true. Bernie Sanders would need to win California with 68% of the vote in order to win, in order to get more pledged delegates. Now, you can make the argument, hey, that's very, very small probability of happening. And you'd be right. I would agree with you 100%. That is a super duper duper long shot. No question about it. But your numbers are not true. You don't give that number and say, hey, it's really hard, but it's possible. No, you make shit up. Oh, only 10% of the remaining delegates. Only 10% of the remaining delegates? That's only if you already count superdelegates, which you shouldn't do, because superdelegates don't count until the convention. That's when they decide, and oftentimes they switch. So that's a bullshit, misleading thing to say. And then furthermore, even the 3 million votes thing is massively misleading. Now, I've heard this all along, and I fell for it just like everybody else all along. But guess what? When you actually research it, that doesn't include caucuses. Who gives the vote totals and totally ignores the caucuses? Who does that? We've had so many states with caucuses, and Bernie Sanders has won most of them, and won them by a landslide. In some places, he won with over 70%. And when you give the vote totals, you don't include caucuses at all. How incredibly misleading is that? That's so misleading that it's fair to call it a lie. People are just lying when they say Hillary Clinton has 3 million more votes. only if you exclude the caucuses, which should count, because I don't know if you know this, they literally count. So it's just a ridiculous point to make. And then also, I haven't even brought up the fact that we've had in many states closed primaries. You don't think that affects the vote? Bernie Sanders has a much higher chance of winning when you have open primaries. Why? Because he wins independents overwhelmingly. He crushes Hillary Clinton with independents. So the fact that we haven't had open primaries all around the U.S. shows that if indeed we did have open primaries, am I saying Bernie Sanders would be leading? No, I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is it would be much closer of an election. You cannot dispute that based on the numbers, based on the facts. New York alone has 3 million independents. None of them were able to vote in the primary. None of them. Imagine an election where independents were able to vote all around the U.S. Would that be closer? Oh, you bet your ass it would be closer. So again, my beef with him is just that he's wrong. And I'm not saying, oh, this is my opinion and that is your opinion. No. The information you're giving is indeed not information. It is misleading. Now, he does go on to a different part of his little message here to say, well, I like Bernie Sanders, and Bernie Sanders talks about income inequality. That's how I tried to run when I ran in 1992, a very important message. But okay, let's wrap it up. Shut the fuck up. We're done here. Hillary Clinton is the nominee. And then he actually goes on to say, the stakes couldn't be higher. Our country faces an existential threat from climate change and the spread of nuclear weapons. A new Cold War is on the horizon. This is no time for Democrats to keep fighting each other. The general election has already begun. No. But see, it hasn't. So that is not true. Okay, understand, for everybody who's a Hillary supporter out there, I need you to get something. Your only chance of getting Bernie people on your side, and there's a lot of people in the Bernie or bust movement now, your only chance is to be super honest and direct with them and upfront with them about the reality of the situation. When you make shitty arguments like this, they like you even less, and they are less likely to vote for Hillary Clinton. So if you come up to a Bernie or bust person and you say, okay, look, here's the deal. Hillary Clinton is Hillary Clinton. Got a lot of dirt on her, made a lot of bad decisions. I agree with you, Iraq War, Patriot Act, go down the list. These are not democratic priorities. These are not democratic principles. I agree with you on all that. We all, to a certain extent, are holding our nose and voting for her. I gotcha. But Donald Trump says he's going to violate the Geneva Conventions. The Geneva Conventions is the problem. He's going to bring back torture. He wants to murder civilians in the Middle East, and he says it proudly, and he's doubled down on that. His tax plan adds X amount of $1 trillion to the debt, as we've spoken about before. You have world economists saying that he's not going to stand by the full faith and credit of the United States government, which could lead to a Great Depression, not only in the U.S., but an economic collapse worldwide, if he decides to do with the country what he did with his businesses. So, Hillary Clinton sucks. This person is literally the one person on the right who she's running against where you would be crazy if you don't vote for her to try to keep this guy out of office. I know it sucks. I know it's terrible. I don't want to do it either, but this is what we're going to do. Okay, that's a different argument than coming out there and pretending like Jerry Brown. Oh, yes, Hillary Clinton is fantastic. Oh, my goodness, she has shown that she is great with Democratic priorities. Oh, I am being so honest and straightforward. By the way, she is winning by 3 million votes, even though she isn't. By the way, let me tell you about how everybody loves Hillary, and Bernie Sanders has already lost this, and the election is over, even though it is literally not over. Stop lying to us. You're not going to get anybody on your side that way. I don't know why they don't get this. Just be honest and direct and straightforward, and then honestly, you would have a decent argument, but none of you are doing that. All of you are doing shitty things like this, which is just not true. You really had an entire endorsement here without even bringing up the fact that Hillary Clinton is under FBI investigation. Imagine if Bernie Sanders was under FBI investigation and Hillary Clinton needed 68% in California in order to win and get the nomination. Everybody would be telling Bernie, drop out. You're under FBI investigation. That's crazy. You can blow the general election by getting an indictment during the general election. You can blow it and hand the country to the Republicans. You could just give it to Donald Trump. And they would say, vote Hillary, vote Hillary, vote Hillary. This guy's under FBI investigation. You flip the script And what do they say? Nobody even mentions the FBI investigation, and they tell Bernie to drop out. Here's Bernie Sanders' strategy moving forward. He knows it's a super duper duper long shot for him to get 68% in California. Just keep it real, it's not going to happen, okay? But there's a 0.2% chance that I do this and it would be amazing, so he's staying in for that reason. He's also staying in because he's going to try to flip superdelegates, and the argument that he's going to make is, hopefully, I don't know the exact details of his argument, but he'll say something along the lines of, we know I beat Donald Trump, look at the polls. I beat him by 15 points in the latest poll. Hillary loses by 2 points. Look at it in important key swing states. Even in non-swing states, New Jersey, which is solidly blue, Trump is only 4 points back to Hillary Clinton. So he's going to make the argument, dude, you go with her, you're going to lose. And then on top of that, he should argue, hey, she's under FBI investigation. If the roles were reversed, yes, the superdelegates, while they shouldn't exist, as Bernie Sanders says, they're the red button for this kind of situation exactly. Oh, a candidate who's likely to lose, the other one who's so much stronger, and under FBI investigation. If there was ever a time to use the superdelegates, it would be right now. So he's going to make that argument at the convention. But Jerry Brown, who honestly probably knows that, decides to lie to you anyway and just say, it's over, everybody look away, it's already over. Make up numbers, including superdelegates. Hillary only needs 10% more in order to win. We need to unify the country and unite the Democratic Party because we have to defeat Donald Trump because he's so bad. Again, if you're going to come at me with evidence and data and policy reasons, and you're honest about it all, so you say, look, Hillary's not that great, but she's better than this lunatic, that's one thing. But you didn't do that. You lied about the vote count. You push stuff under the rug, which is super important, like the FBI investigation, and you are pretending, you're pretending that this whole thing is over and nothing else is going to happen, and you're being super misleading, and then you try to prop up Hillary in the midst of doing all that. Well, then all you're going to do is alienate Bernie voters even more and piss them off more and make them less likely to vote for her. So congratulations, you just did the opposite of what you wanted to do.